Okay, time to put the background in. So I'm using a Rembrandt pastel stick. Rembrandt sticks are a bit harder. They're similar to Jackson's own brand pastel stick. I'd rather the harder pastels. It's not hard by any means, but it's harder than say something like Unison, or definitely harder than Sennelier. And you can see how opaque these are compared to a pencil. So it's really covering up that background. You can't see the paper through it at all. I'm going up to the edge. I'll blend around there because I'll re-establish the edge after I've done this background. Now I know people like to see me doing this. This is all I'm going to do. You can see as I'm coming away to where I'm going to fade it out just to the paper, I'm not putting as much pastel down. But all I'm going to do, I'm just going to let this run real time for quite a while, so you can see me apply it and blend it. Okay, it's just seeing what I'm actually doing. So I'm putting plenty of pastel down. Okay, you don't want to put tons and tons down, but you don't want to scrimp on it. If you can see the paper through it, then you haven't put enough pastel down. And then once I put it down, then I'll use my fingers, clean fingers, to blend it. Kind of, you see circular strokes again, and that's pushing it down into the tooth of the paper. And because I'm working at, as I said, roughly a 60-degree angle, you'll see me rotate the paper around. That's just going to prevent any potential pastel dust falling on the work I've already done. Okay, nothing more than that. That's the reason I'm doing that. Now you may wonder, why am I not using pan pastels to do this? Well, I could have, for sure, but you've got to remember that pan pastels are not as opaque as pastel sticks. Okay, of all the pastel sticks have got the most colour in them, and they're the most opaque. So when I want a background to be very smooth and covered completely, so obviously the brown paper is quite dark. If I'd done this with pan pastels, it would not have had the vibrancy and that flatness that I wanted on the green. So all of these pastel supplies, remember, pencils, pans, pastel sticks such as this, they can all be used together. They've all got their benefits, they've all got their kind of negatives as well, but if you use them together, that's when you get the best ability out of them all. I find the pencils are great for the details. The pans are superb, especially for the underlayers. You see me use those on virtually all of my videos. And the sticks, when I want that real punch of colour or excellent coverage. I just pulled my magnets off my magnetic whiteboard. People ask me for a particular brand of that, and to be honest, I don't even know what I purchased. I just went online. There's lots and lots of magnetic whiteboards out there. Just pick one that suits the size that you want for your workspace. Mine is really large because I've got a large drawing desk and I can use it like that. But basically it's just a metal board covered with white paint, and then get a strong magnet. That's the important thing. Get really strong magnets to hold the paper in place. So I just turned it around, as I said earlier, so that any potential dust falls downwards. Now there's not much dust created anyway, but anything, I didn't want it going over the drawing that I'd already done. So I'm going carefully up to the edge, and probably a millimetre or so over it. I blend it, then I'll come back in after all of this is done, and I'll just tidy up that edge with my pencils again. And I put this really rich background in, and left the details out, so you really focus then on the deer rather than the background. But the richness of the colour to me says a very bright day, probably a spring day with fresh new grasses growing, and that's what I wanted, for that to really have vibrancy in the background to show off the deer. And of course I cover all the underlayers, the detailing, all of this on my Patreon art channel. For just a couple of dollars you get access to literally hundreds and hundreds of hours worth of videos with lots and lots of different subjects as well. And I think I've got well over 1,500 members on there, and I'll put a little bit about it at the end of the video as well. Hope you've enjoyed this. Just wanted to quickly mention my Patreon channel for those looking for even more in-depth art instruction. It's packed full of pastel videos, oil videos as well, and those videos are being added to new ones every single month. I have videos for the complete beginner that have never done pastels or oils before with just limited supplies, and I take you from the very first blocking in all the way through to the final detailed drawings and paintings. I've also got some really unusual subjects as well, and in all of my videos I always take you through all the details. You see everything I do, how I create my work. But it's not just for beginners, it's also for novices, and I also show the best artwork that I've ever done as well. And this particular elephant video spans 6 hours, so you know you're going to see tons and tons of details, tips and techniques. And as mentioned, I've got lots of oil videos on there too, so there really is something for everybody, and you get access to hundreds of hours worth of videos for just $4. Now over 1,000 members strong. Hope to see you there soon.